think striving to do the best that you can do is success. And I don't think that you can measure it in wins and losses and who's ahead up on the scoreboard. I know that sometimes as mamas and daddies and coaches, we get tied up and we want those W's. But when my son comes home and he's done the best that he can sit in here tonight and say the same thing, we're proud of you, girls. All right, I'd like to talk about the senior boys. Before I do, I'd like to try to thank a few people, and I'm not going to try to thank everyone in Weiner, but I could. But there's been some people that have been very instrumental in the basketball program in Weiner, from 4th grade all the way up through the 12th grade. And I'm going to just sum it up by saying, I want to thank everyone. But there's some that I just can't just without calling their names. And I'll give you, I have one man that's donated to our athletic program a weight set that I know if I ordered it out of a catalog, it would cost $560. I know that if I ordered the racks to put the weights on, that it would cost $85 a rack. He made 2 of them. He's a very committed parent, and I love him dearly, and that's Kenneth Rennie. I'd like to thank him. We had a tournament this year called the Free Holiday. Before that tournament, we went out and sold ads. There were several people that made some outstanding contributions. One man went out and raised about $2,000. Larry Lyra. Another man went out and sold a lot of ads, and that was Steve Carpenter. There were people that went out with me. Miss Locke went out with me, and I went out. We took the senior boys. We went to Peru, Greene County Tech, Bay, and we went to a lot of places. Basketball programs or athletic programs aren't successful just because you have good athletes. They're successful because you have parents that care and that are willing to give their time, that will put up maybe with a coach that's demanding, and that will work together to try to do what will turn your young man or your daughter into a fine, contributing human being. And that was our goal this year, and I think that we made some good strides. I didn't mean to miss anybody. I could mention Paulette, I could mention Jackie for supplying buses, Linda Bowden, Juanita for doing paperwork for me, Alvis Brown for doing all of my stats. I could list 200 people that help in this program. And I believe that the reason that the program is successful at Weiner is I have good people helping me. It's not me, and I believe that. And I want to thank all of you for helping. It's like this meal. I didn't cook this meal. It's delicious. If the cooks are here, I enjoyed it. It was delicious. I enjoyed it. Okay, now let me talk about the senior boys. The senior B team played about 13 ball games. I think that if you notice across the country, and I want to make this short as I can, if you notice across the country, ASU, the Razorbacks, those are close to us, attrition. There are some, maybe academics or whatever, but we started the year with 17 young men, and we wound up with 12. And I'm not irritated at anybody. If it were my son and his grades dropped, my son would go to the classroom. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And but I want to mention that the senior B team, we did have to cancel some games because we got down and didn't have enough players. We played 13 ball games, and we wound up 6 and 7. And like I say, we played Newport twice, we played McCrory twice, and I won't go on, but we played a stiff competition. Valley View, their AA school, Riverside's AA school, and we wound up 6 and 7. I'm very proud of them. On that B team, I did not play some of my 10th and 11th graders because they started for me. So that's not a true indication of how my 10th and 11th grade really are. We have a good, strong 10th and 11th grade club. And we're going to have a very strong 9th grade club to join you next year. And those 9th graders, I say this, it's like a game of life. If someone comes along better than Coach Simmons, then he needs the job. If someone comes along better than President Bush, he needs the job. That's life. We don't like it sometimes and we shed tears, but life goes on. And if we don't change with life, we get passed by the wayside. And those are facts of life. Okay, the senior 18, when they were in the 9th grade, they were 16 and 11. My first year to have. My first year to have. Not because of any miracles that Kennedy Simmons performed, but because they were hardworking and loving and caring young men. And I think that they found a spot in my heart, and I hope that somewhere in their heart there's a spot for me, because they responded to me. And they've turned around from a 16 and 11 to a 32 and 6. And I think that's an accomplishment. My first year letterman, they became managers late in the season. Josh Moore. Okay. First year letterman again, Brian Bush. Michael Hewitt. Young man, I haven't seen him here tonight. A young man that's big in stature, Alan Whalen. It's not the only way he's big. I don't know if he's an honor student. He's a very likable young man, and if you haven't met him, you need to meet him. He's one of the nicest young men who's come along with Weiner a long time. I'm really proud to have him. Okay, my 2-year letterman, Timmy Hewitt. In case some of you are wondering what this white box is, it's the 2nd year letterman award. We just give it to Matt Hall. At this time, I'll present the 3-year letterman and get that out of the way. James Locke. Like Coach Reed, I had a young man that came our way, and I feel like we were blessed. Vincent Boris. Jason Malone. I didn't see him here. I think he's farming with Scott Mills. Adam Lauer. Barry Raven. Gentlemen, if you would, I'd like for all of you to come up here and line out. We've got several patches of free holidays, the district championship, the regional championship, and I'd like to present you with your patches. Just come on up, all of you, and line up. I'd like to present the All-District Awards. All 5 starters received All-District this year. 5 starters. Adam Lowry, Jason Malone, Gary Wade, all right, we participated in several tournaments, and these young men were voted upon in those tournaments. This not necessarily is the way that maybe I voted, but I'm proud of them. In most tournaments, I put up 4 or 5 kids, and I was happy to get 1 or 2. But these 2 young men were named All George Kell Classic, Jason Malone and Kip Hesse. All right, we participated in the regional. 2 young men were chosen all regional, Adam Lowry and Jason Malone. Jason, why don't you just come back? Jason Malone was named to the All NEA Northeast Arkansas Invitational Regional, and I really felt like I needed 2 in that tournament, but I only got 1, and Jason was deserving, and I'm proud of it. This is the first time I've ever had an athlete to be named to both teams. Not only was he nominated All-State, but he was a unanimous choice for all tournament team in the state tournament, Jason Malone. All right, I didn't forget you, but the 2-year letterman, you received you received a letter last year, and on that letter, these things are supposed to go, but we've discontinued the policy of buying a letter every year, and we're hoping that we can continue. We spend, and we're pretty extravagant with our awards, and we hope that we can continue, but we're trying to do what we can. These patches go on the letter that you already have. And first year letterman that already have an award, a letter. They got it last year in baseball. Corey Cornelius and Kip Hesse. Now the individual awards. Most rebounds in ball game are for the year, Jason Malone. Best free throw percentage with an 85% average. Best field goal percentage with a 70% average and a 3-point average of 36%. Most assists, and I had people that were very good with stats this year. Mr. Brown put it on the computer, and I have all the copies and everything. And we got it pretty good. Most assists for the year, Kip Hesse. Most steals for the year, Kip Hesse. He likes to give it up, but he also likes to get it back. All right, the most improved award. I hope that everyone here got to see a young man that was on this team when he was in the 9th grade. From that time until now, if you hadn't seen him, you wouldn't know that he couldn't run a lap without breathing hard. He couldn't shoot very well. He was weak. And I told him, I gave him a challenge. I said, young man, you're not going to be a ball player unless you dedicate yourself to staying in the gym, shooting the ball, running. And I talked with his parents, and I said, your son has asthma, and I think he needs to go to the doctor. Because I said, I'm afraid I'm going to hurt him by making him run. And they took him, and they gave him an atomizer, and he would use it when he would start breathing hard. That young man this year made all district. He was one of the best shooters I had some nights, and he was the high point man for several ball games this year. He was the high rebounder for some ball games this year, and he never stopped. And that's James Locke. Most important. Baseball. Baseball is a short season. I sometimes wish that we'd play baseball in the fall. I've threatened to do what Tuckerman does. Tuckerman, when they end their spring season, they go right into their off season and they play American Legion, the same players. And they play about 60 ball games during the summer, and it's the same team. But you know, I know here at Weiner, we've got young men at the farm, and I want to get along with moms and dads as much as I can. And I appreciate moms and dads letting your sons play spring ball. I know that this year I had several young men that could have been on that tractor, and they could have been farming. And some guys didn't come out because that's exactly what they were doing. I have no hard feelings toward them. I remember growing up at Oilcroft working on a farm. My brother would drive during the daytime, and I would drive at night. But that's an advantage of being from a large family. And when the summertime would come, being from a family of 10, I would go to Indiana or Illinois and work in a canning factory and make enough money to go back to college. I know what it's like to be poor, and I know what it's like to work hard. So when I ask a young man to work hard, I'm not asking him to walk down any road that Kennedy Simmons has to travel. And I wouldn't ask a young man to do that, my son or anyone else. And I do try to treat every young man like I do my own son. I chew my own son out, and I'll chew your son out if he plays if he doesn't do what he's supposed to do. And that's not because I don't love him. When I was at Newport, and I don't want to make a long speech, but when I was at Newport, I left Newport because they were going to make me the girls' coach. I didn't have a choice. Dale Counts, some of you might know him. Dale Counts came to me and he said, Kennedy, you're going to be the girls' coach next year. And I said, Dale, I really like working with boys. I said, I love girls, and I hope, I'm married to a beautiful girl, and I said, I just don't want to coach girls. And I said, I hope I get married and have girls someday, but I just don't want to work with them. Well, Mark Trigg called me, and Coach Trigg said, people don't call you. They do call you, sometimes. But at that time, Mark Trigg was #1 in the state in teenage pregnancy, and they were known as the drug capital of Arkansas. And we closed the campus my first year at Mark Trigg, and you don't hear that about Mark Trigg now. And my 3 years there, out of the 3, 1 year we got the state sportsmanship trophy, and 3 years in a row we got the district sportsmanship. This year at Weiner, we received, and I don't have a trophy for it yet, but we received the district sportsmanship trophy that indicates how the parents reacted, how the cheerleaders reacted, how the coaches reacted, and how the fans and everybody. And that shows that Weiner right now has a class program. And I'm not the one that's responsible. There's good people in Weiner, and I'm just a product of that environment. We're right now, Valley View's written a letter, North Fork's written a letter, Stanford's written a letter, and Kennedy Simmons has written a letter that was proofread by Ms. Wright. And we sent it off, and we're in competition right now for the State Sportsmanship Award. And pay attention this summer to the All-Star ball game. It'll be played in July. And at that ball game, they're going to announce the State Sportsmanship winner. And Weiner has a chance to win that one. So y'all pay attention for that. Okay, let me get back to baseball. Our baseball season this year consisted of 11 ball games. we had 10 ball games called because of rain. It was a very rainy season. We might play one game and then call off 5 or 6. So it was hard to really get into it. I had a good group of young men. They worked hard when we got to practice. We practiced in the gym with a pitching machine, tennis balls, and I'd make them run the bases in the gym. You ought to see that. It's sort of humorous. And we worked on cutoffs in the gym, throwing the ball 90 feet to a cutoff man so he could throw it home, about 20 feet away. And it was sort of humorous in a way. But they worked hard. They kept a good balance about them. They had a good attitude about it. One of the great accomplishments that we accomplished this year in baseball was we beat the #1 team in the state of Arkansas in Class A. We beat Tuckerman 8-7. And they're #1 in the state. And that was a great accomplishment. First-year letterman, if you would come up and receive your award. I had a statistician, let me go over them first. Mindy Zerbel kept stats for me for the 2nd year, and Meredith Edmonds kept this year. So would you two girls come up? All right, my first-year letterman, I had a very good group. Mr. Roach last year had them. Mike Kiner had them the year before that. They're very well taught. They struggle with the upper level pitching. And in Junior Babe Ruth, you don't see very many curveballs. In high school, you see curveballs, knuckleballs, all kinds. Lewis Brown. Jason Garrett. Tony Newberry. Gabe Taylor. Michael Haynes. Clark McDermott. Corey, all right, 2-year letterman. I had one more 1-year letterman. I don't see him here. We had a young man that did a good job. He came out for his first time. I was extremely pleased to work with him. He showed a good attitude. Joe Greeno. All right, the 2-year letterman, Corey Cornelius. And Kip Hesse. The Individual Statistics Award. In looking at the scorebook and averaging up the errors and the mistakes and the people that had the best put-out record as far as throwing the ball and getting people out, Kip Hesse had the Golden Glove Infield Award. Golden Glove outfield for the time that he was there was Adam Lauer. Pitching award, Jason Malone. The hitting award with an average of over 300, Jason Malone. And the most improved award, he's not here, but I want to say some good things about him. I don't know if he's ever pitched. I don't think he had. We were playing in a ball game and we were getting, well, we were down, I think, 15-1. And I put him in the ball game, and he said, "Coach, I'll try." He had a great attitude. He came in and he struck out a few batters. The bases were loaded at that time. He struck out a few, and he walked a few. But we wound up the ball game 19-1. And this young man was positive. He came off and he said, "Coach, how did I do it?" And I said, "You did a great job." He struck out 2 batters. He'd never pitched before in his life. He's a senior. And I told him, I said, "I'm just sorry you didn't come out when you were in the 9th grade. The experience that you miss by not being out there, there's no way you can replace it unless you go home and just work every day." I know for a fact, I didn't make the 7th grade team. And I went home and I cried, and I said, "Dad, I'll make it next year." And I went out there and I wore the grass off of the spot on the ground. I got a bald-headed spot out there in Blackland, Arkansas, and I think it's still bald-headed. But grass didn't grow there because I wanted to play. And the next year I came out and started at post. And this young man could have been a good player. He was a good player, but he could have been even better if he had come out in the 9th grade and got those years of experience. Joe Green. All right, predictions. I don't make predictions, but junior high, Coach Reed summed it up great. You got some big shoes to fill, junior high, and I think that you can do it. It's going to take hard work and dedication. All right, senior high, you're losing some great leaders. Not just good ball players, but good leaders. And it's going to take somebody with a good head on their shoulders to replace them. We've got a good group of young men coming in the 9th, out of the 9th, into the 10th. Fellas, don't say that I'm a 9th grader and I'm not going to play. Come out there and start. Come out there and try. And I'm going to say this, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. There's no starters right now. This is off season. If you beat somebody or you can outplay somebody, you work harder and you're dedicated, good things happen to those who strive. All right, baseball, you're all young. You're losing 4 players, you got 8 returning. You got a good crew coming in next year that are in the 8th grade now, going to be 9th grade. Good things are going to happen in baseball in Weiner. I look for Weiner to be in the state tournament 2 years from today. Maybe next year, but that's 2 years from today when these 9th graders are going to be in the 12th grade or 11th grade. Maybe when Kip and Corey's seniors. They got the makings of a great team, and we'll get behind them and encourage them. Make them get out and throw that ball when they want to watch Nintendo or whatever, and encourage them. Fellas, I love you. I enjoy working with you. I've always enjoyed working with young men, and I do challenge you, and I work you hard, and I don't apologize for that. If I've offended any, I apologize for that because that's not my intention or my desire. I have 3 sons. I discipline them daily if they need it. They don't like me at times. But that doesn't mean I don't love them. I do love them, and I believe that discipline is a sign of love. And I think the Bible points that out pretty clearly. You fellas have something?
Well, Coach, we were the first group when you first came here, coach, you coaches and everything. And we appreciate you staying with us and being with us through all the tournaments and everything. Just being there when we need you. And that's what we do here. I want to read it. And great appreciation to Coach Kenny Simmons for working and sticking with us for the year. Free Holiday Conference District and Regional Champs, Senior Boys Basketball, 1989-90.